the Menace. Menace is Sobriety.
How would you describe, if you could describe your, because I got accused of glorifying drug culture by a journalist the other day when my first podcast went out. And my answer to that was, well, fucking taking drugs is glorious. That's the fucking problem.
Well, yeah, otherwise you wouldn't do it.
No, yeah, it's kind of fucking Moorish.
I mean, it's ridiculous. You go and spend 200 quid on something that's gone in 7 hours, and you're wondering about more when you're financially not stable enough to do it. If drugs weren't giving you something, no one would do it.
Yeah.
But you are masking, you are slapping a big plaster over something that you need to address, and that's the main thing. And it just eats you away. I'm still a slim lad, but I probably haven't looked as well as when I substituted cocaine for food, and who would have known that would have been a positive step. But when you get stuck like that, it's very lonely, and when you're doing it in the week, for example, people love you at the weekend and they're thinking, oh, he's my boy. They don't see that you've already been topping up before you even got there. They don't see it. They think you're a party animal. They think this, but it's like, no, I'm somewhere. I'm accepted now. I used to love the boxing because every cunt was up till 6 a.m. I was up anyway, but I used to love being included in it. And it gets very sad, very lonely, very quickly. And until I started, until my life took a really lucky and positive turn with meeting a very, very loving woman who stood by me, I was fucked. And I got thrown in the deep end with having a daughter very quickly, and big complications with her birth and all that. And I thought it was game over for me. I nearly lost my daughter in hospital, and I remember thinking, if she dies, I've got nothing to hang on to, and I will kill myself with alcohol. And since that moment, because she pulled through, I said, I've got to make a change. Now, that was 2.5 years ago. I'm not saying that I've been a golden since then, but what I have done is actively tried to improve myself every time. I've had my slip-ups. I had 2 pints in my brother's 30th, which is 3 months ago, and my mum looked at me like, oh, my God, because the trauma I put her through, immediately I saw her eyes go, fuck, he's about to go again. But you notice things, and you start to realise that I was the cunt. It was me, the stuff I'd say to people when I was hurting inside. I would throw everyone just toxic energy on everybody. No one wanted to be around me, and I'm starting to build bridges and piece things together now. So it's to answer your question, I've gone a roundabout way, but it is fun, it is glorious, and if you can handle it, like you say, crack on. But if you're sat there thinking, when is this going to stop, and can I keep doing this, then you really need to look inside yourself and say, what am I getting out of this? Yeah. Who's winning here?
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. There was and I'm only going to say this stuff because of how positive things are for both of us. I mean, together as a team, and we'll get into that later. But there came a point, and I'm sure that this happened to you, and this must have been heartbreaking for you with a lot of people. But there came a point where I started to, because when I first met you, my career was in tatters. My father had just passed away, and I really was damaged, and I really didn't care about myself at all. But once I started putting work back into my career, and once I started, I mean, I was still using and drinking or whatever, but once I started taking life seriously again, I really felt like I had to distance myself from you.
I remember being sat in your kitchen at one of your events, and you saying, I just can't have you around me, Cal. And my jaw was in the fucking pub before, and I know that, and I remember it, but you were right.
Yeah, and actually it's filling me with a little bit of emotion now saying it, because I do feel, and it is getting me a little bit, I'm sorry, man, I always get emotional with these podcasts, but I felt like if I'd stuck around with you, because I was looking at you and you were skinny, you weren't eating, you couldn't talk, you could not fucking talk most of the time. You'd come in, you'd I was having a couple of bumps here and there, and then maybe the occasional overnight sesh and stuff like that. But every time, there was a period in your life where every time I saw you, you were buckled.
Buckled, mate. Buckled. And I lied to me. So 2 years I did that every day. Yeah. Buckled. And you tell yourself, and you have a day off, and it's like fucking, you reward yourself. You're like, no, it ain't that bad. It is, Dan. Yeah. It was. I remember vividly you saying that, I can't have you around me, mate. And me I couldn't even get the words out to argue my point because I was fucked.
Yeah.
And there was a couple that hit me though, but you don't know that was a favour you did me, because I thought, fuck, don't throw away your fucking ticket, don't throw away the people that got you back. I remember it. I remember that vividly.
Because where I connected with you and I got on well with you, and it wasn't just drugs that we had or drink that we had in common, because we used to talk a lot about a lot of stuff. You know, we did used to talk a lot about a lot of stuff and text each other a lot and talk, and but you started coming to my events and getting thrown out. you know.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Do you know? I mean, I'm just going to say how it is. Like,
I got back in 4 times one time. I remember.
Yeah, you got.
I brought a mob of people with me and the fucking all staff dinner.
Yeah, and everyone when they're around me at an event, you know, they got their cameras out, they're filming or they're doing selfies.
Who's this wanker?
Yeah, and you would, and it hurt me to say it, but also I was scared, man, because you were you were triggering me. I mean, every time I saw you, I wanted to get on it and drink.
Menace is sobriety. Just a menace, just a menace, just a menace. Menace is sobriety.